Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, has come back on set. Kaveh, oh my goodness. How do you react to that?
Well, look, the first thing you should say is that referees are human beings. They make mistakes like everybody else. They were working there in a very highly pressurised environment, and they made a mistake, and it was a big mistake.
There is a dangerous comfort in calling repeated injustice human error. It soothes the conscience. It protects institutions. It ends conversations before they become uncomfortable. But what happened to Arsenal against Brentford can no longer be filed under that convenient excuse. This was not a lapse in concentration. It was not a referee blinking at the wrong moment. It was a deliberate intervention that took something obvious and systematically stripped it of legitimacy. That is a far more serious problem. The incident itself was painfully straightforward. Arsenal attacked with speed and purpose. The ball entered the penalty area. A defender arrived late and clumsily, making contact that disrupted the attacker's movement. The referee did what referees have done for decades. He pointed to the spot. No hesitation. No drama. Just instinct informed by experience. In that instant, football made sense. Then VAR stepped in and football stopped being football. What followed was not correction, but reinterpretation. Slow motion replaced reality. Angles replaced context. The natural chaos of the game was frozen and dissected until meaning became optional. Contact was no longer contact. Force was no longer force. The foul didn't vanish, it was argued out of existence. This is the quiet evolution of VAR that nobody wants to confront. It no longer exists to fix clear errors. It exists to challenge certainty. And Arsenal, time and time again, are the primary victims of that challenge. Across the Premier League, fans witness penalties awarded for less every single week. A trailing leg here. A slight clip there. Decisions defended by pundits with phrases like "there's enough contact" or "he's entitled to go down." But when Arsenal are fouled, the language changes. Suddenly we hear about thresholds, natural motion, and not enough for VAR to intervene. The same laws, interpreted through entirely different lenses. That inconsistency is not accidental. It is cultural. VAR rooms are not neutral spaces. They are shaped by philosophy, pressure, and precedent. Officials know the consequences of intervention. They know which decisions ignite media storms and which quietly pass. Over time, patterns form. Interventions become habits. And Arsenal have found themselves on the wrong side of those habits far too often to ignore. What makes this latest decision so corrosive is its predictability. Arsenal fans knew what was coming the moment VAR announced a check. Celebration turned into anxiety. Confidence drained into dread. This is no longer paranoia, it is conditioning. Supporters have been trained by repeated experience to expect reversal when something benefits their team. That alone should alarm the league. A competition loses credibility the moment fans stop trusting outcomes. And yet, the system responds with silence. Referees are protected from scrutiny. VAR officials remain anonymous. The PGMOL issues carefully worded statements that explain decisions without owning consequences. There is no proportional accountability. No transparency that matches the scale of influence VAR now wields. And influence is exactly what this is about. When Arsenal are chasing titles, every marginal decision becomes magnified. Denying a penalty is not a neutral act, it directly affects momentum, belief, and pressure. It reshapes matches and, over time, seasons. A point dropped here. 2 points lost there. By May, the table tells a story that ignores how it was written. This is where VAR's defenders retreat to process. The rules were followed. The decision was reviewed. but process without fairness is meaningless. Technology without consistency is manipulation, even if unintentional. And repeated outcomes always matter more than stated intentions. The psychological impact on players is impossible to ignore. Attackers hesitate instead of committing. Trust in officials erodes. Focus shifts from execution to expectation of interference. Football becomes cautious, distorted by the fear that decisive moments will be rejudged elsewhere. For supporters, the damage is deeper. Joy is delayed. Goals are celebrated with suspicion. Every whistle is provisional. The sport begins to feel adversarial not between teams, but between fans and the system itself. And Arsenal are not imagining this. The evidence is cumulative. Each incident adds weight. Each explanation sounds more strained than the last. The pattern is no longer about one referee or one VAR operator, it is about a culture of intervention that seems uniquely comfortable stepping in against Arsenal. No one is claiming conspiracy. That word is too easy to dismiss. What is being questioned is something more troubling, structural bias born from habit, pressure, and precedent. A system that does not consciously target Arsenal, but one that repeatedly arrives at outcomes that disadvantage them. That is harder to expose and far more dangerous. Because systems do not correct themselves unless they are forced to confront reality. And reality is this: VAR has not removed controversy from football. It has relocated it. It has centralized power in rooms removed from emotion, accountability, and consequence. And Arsenal, once again, have paid the price. This was not just a penalty overturned. It was another warning sign that modern football has lost its anchor to common sense. That truth on the pitch is now negotiable. That justice is conditional. And that for Arsenal, clarity is never enough. Until the league confronts this honestly without hiding behind process or protocol, these moments will keep repeating. And every repetition will push the game further away from fairness, further away from trust, and further away from the very principles VAR was supposed to protect.